Hi everyone, Kat here, and I am so excited to be back. And well, if you're new, hi, welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay. I've been, restricted to just really short videos for a while, as I didn't have room on my phone, and that's where I record everything. And yeah, you get to see JB's butt. My cat might be a little scaredy cat. And yeah, we've got the Halloween going, though I don't think I have any particularly scary books and what I'm going to show you, but I am doing the whole Summerween thing, and I will be reading some and telling y'all about them. So I just wanted to do a little, here's my, book haul, because if y'all have been following me a while, then you know I've got like a little challenge going with myself in the shorts feed of let's read what I already have before I buy a bunch more. And I fell off that wagon, and I'm gonna fall farther. I already know this. I have a Amazon gift card that I just received, and it's going to books in Halloween. Like, that's not even a secret. But I finally have room on my phone, got everything cleared up so I can actually record a proper video, and I wanted to show y'all. So, of course, I gotta start with this one that I'm actually in the middle of reading. It's James Rollins. It's the 17th book in the Sigma Force series, and I'm almost done with it, so we'll be going on to TBR part 32 soon. And I love him. Like, this is one of my, I have to have it as soon as it comes out authors. Is basically, this scientists with guns is what this one is. Well, that's the whole Sigma Force. And it heavily features my favorite character, Kowalski, who is this big, dumb oaf that, well, he thinks he is because he's the demolitions expert and everybody else is, PhD scientists and all this, really cool, medical and bioengineering and nanotechnology and whatnot. He knows how to make big booms, but he's actually a big old softie, too, so he's my absolute favorite. And as usual, this is very well timed. Like, when the whole COVID thing was going on, James Rollins did one about, viruses. Now we've got the world on fire, and a Chinese sub, and tsunamis, and just lots of stuff going on here. It's a good flippin' time if you want some action adventure and want to accidentally learn about some new scientific principles that you didn't know you were interested in because you didn't know about them. Go check him out. And in this similar vein, I have been wanting the last two books of this series for the longest freaking time, and I got them! Thank you, Book Outlet, because I have been looking since last, February for these books. This is another one that I've told y'all about a few times. It's the Jack West Jr. series by Matthew Riley, where initially I read Temple by him, and I was not impressed. There needed to be a lot of editing. He kind of came off as very, narcissistic and trying way too hard to explain everything, and I left him for a while, and then long enough that I forgot that I didn't like him, picked up another book randomly, and I loved it. It's a 7-book series, and weirdly enough, this is, the 2 Lost Mountains and 1 Impossible Labyrinth. This is not the 1st and 2nd. This is the 6th and 7th books. I don't know exactly what these are about, but it's basically, so far the series has been, the cosmos are trying to off us because us humans have been bad people, and, the universe just said no. And he said, no, but we're not going to allow that. Some humans don't suck, we're going to save the world. So, exactly what happens in these, what they're about, well, the backs don't tell you anything. They got all that, well, this person likes it crap that I really don't care about. But the last book that I read, which was the 5th book in the series, ended on this happened, haha, just kidding, it didn't. And I'm like, what, how is he? I'm pretty sure you're just calling us stupid and realized you made a mistake, but I want to see how he plays it off, and plus I have just been loving this. It's just action and so much fun, and a little mythological stuff usually gets tied into it. Like, we've been to Egypt and Australia, where he's from. There was, the 4 legendary kingdoms. We straight up got into, like, to the gods. It was a good time. And then, now I'm just gonna keep reaching over for piles, because I got 18 books. I can't hold that many in my little baby hands. And this is a mixture of all the stuff. We've got thrillers, got some fairy tales, I got some, mythological. I think I've got some Greek mythology, I've got some comedy. We got a little bit of everything going on. And this is what I learned about from Allie Pagely. As I previously read one other book by this author, Aaron A. Craig, is The House of Salt and Sorrows, and it was so much fun. And I saw her talking about this author, and I was like, oh yeah, she's done other stuff. And so I got small favors, and this is supposed to be about Rumpelstiltskin, who you don't see a lot of Rumpelstiltskin retellings, so I am excited. I mean, if this book is half as good as House of Salt and Sorrows, which there's a sequel that just came out, and I might be getting my hands on that eventually. That was like this nice, like, gothic, kind of mind-trippy horror. So if you want to kind of dip your toe into Summerween and, get some nice islandy, like, gothic old-school vibes, check that one out. This one is that I don't actually know anything about it, but it was like, $5, and I loved the last book by this author, and it's supposed to be, it's Rumpelstiltskin. That sounds flippin' awesome. So, a chilling tale about what lurks in the shadows of the people you think you know. You can't tell me that doesn't sound like so much fun. So, no idea, but I am super excited. And then we've got another kind of thriller, Brad Thor, The Lions of Lucerne. And I've read a couple of his. I don't think I've actually reviewed any of these for y'all, because it has been a minute since I've read one. But this is basically another, like, military, government dude. He's an ex-Navy SEAL that, did some work for the president, and was, and on this one is, on the snow-covered slopes of Utah, the president of the United States has been kidnapped and his Secret Service detail massacred. Only one agent survived, ex-Navy SEAL Scott Harveth. He doesn't buy the official line that Middle Eastern terrorists are behind the attack and begins his own campaign to find the truth and exact revenge. But now, framed for murder by a sinister cabal, Harveth takes his fight to the towering mountains of Switzerland and joins forces with beautiful Claudia Mueller of the Swiss Federal Attorney's Office. I've read a couple of this series. I think last I looked there was like 25 of them or something, and I've read them randomly. Obviously there's a little bit of politic to it, but it's mostly just like super spy, action-y fun. So, I love that. And then I've got a Jim Butcher that you would never guess this was a used book. Look how nice this looks. And honestly, I picked this up because one of my coworkers loves Jim Butcher, and he seems to have pretty good taste in books. And I did read a short from the Dresden Files because it was like 99 cents on Kindle, and I enjoyed it. So I'm not sure where in the series this falls, but doesn't that look creepy? The White Knight. Ooh. So again, this is another one where I honestly don't know much about it, but I read one by the author, and it was my price range. It looked kind of cool, so this might be perfect for Summerween. And this next book definitely is. I love me some urban fantasies. If y'all been following me, y'all know that. Like, urban fantasy, fairytale retellings, and like action-packed thrillers, those are my go-tos. Everything else I've got a little sampling of, but this one, zombies sold separately. Dude, how can you say no to that? It looks like so much fun. Nyx hates zombies. Seriously hates zombies. Ever since she was a youngling, she's been haunted by them. And even though she's a big girl now, a half-human, half-drow, private eye to be precise, Nyx bristles at the mere thought of the Walking Dead. I think this is the first in the series, but, oh, and there's other ones. Demons not included, no werewolves allowed, vampires not invited. So, hopefully this is good, because there's a couple follow-ups, and this is by Cheyenne McCrae. New to me author, but that sounds like a good time. And another one I found was Wrong Side of Dead by Kelly Medding, author of Another Kind of Dead. So, this one looks like a good time. So, I mean, we've got what I'm assuming is maybe her, like, pet wolf, maybe a werewolf, because that sucker looks pretty big. If she's not one to mess with, she ain't scared of that wolf. So, yeah, again, I have no idea. That looks like the fun kind of story that I have read before with the, badass female running things. Because that is one thing you see a lot of in urban fantasy. It's mostly written by chicks, and we don't have a lot of damsels in distress. Even when they're in distress, they're not helpless damsels. The guys might get to help. They ain't running the show. We run the show and solve our own problems. And you better watch it, so. I love a good, strong female character, so. This looks like we're gonna have one, and we'll find out about it together. You can't go wrong with, some kind of wolves and taking out, not dead folks. Perfect for Halloween, which is my favorite holiday, if y'all can't tell. And then for the next pile, we got a little sequel. I read the first book earlier this year, and it was kind of like a young, magical Hunger Games, but not as depressing, so I ended up really loving it. It was actually a gift from a coworker who had ordered some stuff from Book Outlet, and they accidentally sent her the wrong stuff, so there's, here, keep it, we'll send you, what you actually ordered. And it was not her style at all, so she passed it on to me. I loved it. And so now I have the sequel, All of Our Demise. It's the first one. If y'all don't know, it's All of Us Villains, which you can see a picture of that on the back. So they kept the theme. And the rings are basically, which you'll learn in the first one, is they have, like, enchantments and stuff in jewelry to kind of protect themselves. So basically, there is, magic in the world, but it's very limited, and it's kept by one family for a really long time. And they all live in this one little village, and every so many years, they each send a kid. There's 7 kids that go and duke it out, and the last one standing, their family gets the high magic. And they decided to buck the system in the last one, so we'll see what comes of it. I don't know how many books are supposed to be in this series, but this is the next one in it. I'm excited to see what happens. And then we have Clive Cussler, who's another one. I've tried him before, and I liked the premise, but it was too slow moving for me. But I've been told I picked the wrong book to start with. It was like his worst book, but my coworker and James Rollins both like swear by this guy, so yeah. Again, I'll pretty much all of this except for, this that I had to have that's brand new. It's all from the used bookstore. That is my price range. But it looks like in such good shape. So, for a couple bucks, I gotta give it a try. I mean, it's The Pharaoh's Secret. A Kurt Austin adventure. An ancient curse, a deadly toxin, a secret organization. To save their crew, Kurt Austin and Joe Zavala must prove the legends are true. The dead don't stay that way long in Egypt. I mean, that just sounds creepy and awesome. And I find, like, ancient Egypt very fascinating. So, why not give it a try, right? And then I've got another Clive Cussler that it's from the Dirk Pitt series, Valhalla Rising. That just, dude, look at that cover. You can't tell me that does not look intriguing. And then I've got the receipt from when I accidentally bought way too many books, including this one. I did good. It only cost me $63 that round. If y'all know me, that is cheap for getting out of a bookstore, even a used one. And then I've got a couple that are right up my alley, because like I said, I love me some Fairytale Retellings and Witch's Reign. Got some very Red Riding Hood going on. And apparently, it's part of a series, the Desert Cursed series, book 1 by Shannon Mayer. So, this, again, I've never heard of this author. Pretty much all of these are brand new to me, except for a handful, but that just looked like way too good of a time, and it should be a fairly easy read. I grabbed it on the young adult children's section, and it's got some big old print. And let's see. How much? Oh, not too bad. Only 357 pages, so. Considering how big that font is, that's not a very long book, but don't mess with Red Riding Hood. I don't think the wolf's gonna be getting her. And I don't think we're gonna need the huntsman this time either. That just, dude. Got the horsey, the flippin' mason. That's a little baby dragon. I don't know what Red is doing with a dragon, but come on now, are you not intrigued? I want to go visit that castle and play with the dragon. And then this one I actually heard of on BookTube that was recommended me by, I forget, it was somebody in the comments on another BookTuber's video, but The Red Queen. I read a small sample because I did get that on Kindle and it was interesting, so apparently this was owned by Sharpstein before I bought it, and it was written by Victoria Aveyard. And again, this is just, young adult kind of fantasy fairy tale retelling. And I don't know about y'all. Have y'all read this? What did y'all think? This one I have seen making quite the rounds on BookTube and getting carried over from Book Talk. Cause, I'm one of them old middle-aged people. Of this and Facebook are pretty much all the social media I do. I know the others exist. I don't bother with them. I only got into this as my friend mentioned that I should do it because I love books. And most of my friends and coworkers don't read, so I need some people to talk to books about. And go, this one was awesome. This one betrayed me. Ooh, have y'all tried this before I go buy it because my library doesn't have it? So, yay! And then now we've got some, mixed bags. We've got Natalie Haynes' Pandora's Jar, because I do like a little Greek mythology. Not as much as, Adriana over at Carbon Bonded Books. If y'all like Greek mythology, you need to go check her out. She's very fun, and she loves Greek mythology. Though, mainly I found her because we bonded over James Rollins, and she's currently doing also kind of reading his series again. But, I've read a couple. I think I've read one other book by Natalie Haynes, and I've read a few other Greek mythologies this year. But it just seems like a good time. You can't go wrong with a little Greek mythology. And, well, I did used to have a kitty named Pandora, though. That was based off the Anne Rice Pandora. Tiny, and don't mess with her. I found her under a dumpster when she was the size of my kitten, like my hand. And she had no problems trying to fight my 40-pound dog and subduing him, because, she climbed right in his mouth, all fearless, and he didn't do nothing. She kind of ran the house, so very appropriate. And this is another one that I've seen a little bit of this making the rounds. I don't actually know anything about it, but Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. Dude, how amazing does that look? 2 sisters, 1 brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself. and an intoxicating romance. I'm hoping the romance isn't very key in that, because I'm not the romance girly. Like, it's in most books. I love fairy tales. Like, duh. If you watch my channel, you will see I have a whole playlist of probably like 50 that I have read in the last year or so. So, I mean, you can't have fairy tales without a little romance. I am very much a Disney girl, but I'm also the creepy girl, too. They get on the, oh, I love you, but no, I'm more the, you're hot, and we haven't been fighting that much, I guess I kind of love you. And, you know, that's more my style. The sarcastic love you, but don't get comfortable. Not the let's get married kind. That goes in the trash. So, this, yeah, that looks badass, and it's wicked. So, again, I don't know too much, but I am excited to try this one. And I found another one that is very much like Red Riding Hood. I went in looking for one specific, young adult retelling to finish off a series I've been reading. They didn't have it, but they did have, apparently Red Riding Hood is very popular. Because Sisters Red by Jackson Pierce. And this is another young adult one that, hey, you can't go wrong with Red Riding Hood. You know there's going to be some creatures going on. And I love a good creature feature. That's like my favorite kind of horror. And so, we've got some very big print there. And let's see here. This doesn't look like it's too long. 324 pages, so not too shabby. I'm not entirely certain what this is about, but you know, for $4, I was not leaving this there. So I always find stuff that I've never heard of. And like, well, if I don't get it now, I'll forget it exists. Because nobody's talking about it. It's not on the bestsellers. So, we'll have some fun. I've got apparently plenty of fairy tales for y'all and some urban fantasy going on. And then we gotta end with some laughs, because everybody needs a good laugh. I mean, the outside real world kind of sucks. It's a big old mess. We need to escape and laugh at some folks without, hurting anyone's feelings, because they're not real. So we've got Tim Dorsey. This is another of the Sergei Storms. And I managed to snag 2. I don't actually know what either of these are about. Well, aside from the general, Sergei's going to be causing trouble because, he is Florida man through and through. And if you don't know what that means, you're lucky. Pick up one of these and you will realize if somebody does something over the top, stupid, like how are you surviving? Probably Florida. So we've got Tropic of Stupid and Naked Came the Florida Man. Dude, the titles alone not make you laugh. It's not Christopher Moore, but it's still, he tends to be a good time because Sergei, scarcely enough, he is the leader of his little group, and kind of like me, he should never be the one in charge because that ain't good for nobody. The things ain't right up here. But he basically is, depends on if he's on his meds and if they're still working or not. Like how almost, safe he is. The first book I read was, he was just making fools of the CIA because he wanted to become a spy and he had them convinced that he was, when really he was just a serial killer. It was all bad guys that he was taking out, but they couldn't figure it out because everyone was a completely different way. The only thing they had in common was they happened to be seen by him and they did something wrong. Like, I think one of them was just, it was a really bad guy, but he got busted littering. And so Sergei had to put a stop to that very violently. And he does stuff that's just all off the rails. You might not necessarily follow it. I've noticed these do kind of go all over the place. Like, you're not going to get an ABCD, straight line story. There's usually a couple storylines that somehow get pulled together with him being the central force in that, and you're not gonna totally make sense of it till the end when he just goes, oh yeah, this is what happened. It is a very all over the place, very fun, just do not try to have a lot of logic and sense in these. Just go with the flow, and they're a good laugh. So, yep, that's all I've got for you for now. Hopefully some of those sound really fun, and I will see you soon. Bye. Happy reading.